So for your particular problem, what you wanted to do, they gave you a function that they wanted you to graph, and they gave you a domain and a range to look at. So the first thing you want to do is go to your y equals, and then enter in your equation that you're given. So x cubed minus 6x squared. Then they gave you values in parentheses, and those represent what you need to change your window to. So if you press your window button, your x minimum was the first value in brackets, which was -2, and you press enter to get down to the next line. In that same set of brackets, the value is 8. So that gives you your x max. Your x scale is how you're counting, so you're counting by ones. Your y minimum they gave you was a -34, and the y maximum they gave you was a +34. So here, it makes sense to count by ones because you're just going from -2 to 8. But here we're going from a -34 up to a +34. So there are going to be a lot of little tick marks if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it might be better for us if we count by, let's say, something even like 4. And you could have done 2s, you could have done 6s. So what happens is now when we graph it, our graph is set up so we can see our graph the best way possible. So our x minimum was a -2, so there's your -1, -2, because remember we're counting by ones on the x's. Then there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then here, down here is your -32, and then you're going up to your +32. So the questions ask you for your local min and local max. Well, those always occur at the top of a hill. So here's our top of a hill, so this is going to be our local maximum. And here's our bottom of the hill, which is a local minimum. So we can read this one off the graph. It's crossing through the origin, so that's 0, 0. If you weren't too sure, where we can go is under calculate, and since it's in blue, you have to press the second button and then trace. So you're telling it that this is a maximum, so we're just going to select that. So left bound means it wants you to go to the left point of this. So you use your arrow keys to scroll over to the left hand side. Anywhere on the left is fine, and you press enter. Then it asks you for the right bound. Go to the right hand side of where you believe your maximum is. Anywhere on the right is fine, and press enter. And you have 2 arrows at the top. So you're telling the calculator, I want you to focus in between these 2 areas and guess. You put your cursor where you think your maximum point is. So just get as close as possible. Press enter. So here it gives you 1.257 e to the -6. So you have to know that this is scientific notation. So this is 0.00000012567. And when you round that off, that's basically just 0. Same thing here. -9.48 times 10 to the -12th power. That's a whole lot of zeros, and then 9.48. So 0, 0 is basically what it is. Our other local extrema is down here, and that's going to be our local minimum. And it's a local minimum because it's at the bottom of a curve. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to calculate. We're going to do minimum, and we're going to press enter. Left bound, go to the left hand side using these arrow keys. And I'm trying to get over here. So I could press there, but I want to get a little closer. Press enter. Right bound, go to the right hand side of where that minimum point is. Anywhere on the right is fine. And then guess. Get as close to where you think the bottom of that curve is, and you press enter. So we have 3.9999999, and just like we had in class, this is the same thing as just 4. And then the y value is -32. So you can always go to your table and check. So I just need to correct my table. So at 0, you have a low point at 0. And then at 4, well, you have a high point at 0, I'm sorry. 0, you have a high point at 0. At 4, you have a high point at -32.